Hello. Good afternoon, good evening, bonjour, bonsoir, wherever you are. This is your host, Mustafa Bayeo, in another episode of Columbus African Spotlight. Today, our guest is the lead singer of the Deal Breaker, another performer at the Columbus African Festival. So we are going to take you through a journey of music that is from Columbus, that represent our city, and we are going to be talking about Redwoods from the Deal Breaker. Before that, I need to do an introduction so you guys have an idea of what this amazing band is. So the Deal Breakers band is a breed from the same musical womb as some of the most timeless group like Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Ohio Players, and so many more. They are the keeper of the flames, sharing their own brand of high energy go-go music with the world. The Deal Breakers were formed by a group of like-minded musicians who wanted to bring something fresh and new to the city of Columbus, Ohio. Since their founding, they have been dedicated to recreating the sound of the most memorable classic and contemporary R&B, soul, funk, and even hip hop music, while infusing their own unique style and flavor. Again, since their inception, they've had the pleasure of sharing the stage with some of the biggest names in the music business, and we are honored to host them at the Columbus African Spotlights to discuss their music and their upcoming performance at the Columbus African Festival. So, without any further ado, we are going to be talking with Ray Woods, the lead singer of the Deal Breaker. So, before we start, we have to let you enjoy some of their music. We'll be right back with Ray Woods.
Yeah, everybody feel real good right now. Here to tell the ring, we about to take it to church. We about to take it to church. Let that power move, y'all.
Welcome everyone. Welcome again. That was a beautiful intro music of Deal Breaker, and we have the pleasure of having with us today the lead singer of the greatest band in Columbus, Ohio,
Hey,
Wood, the Deal Breaker.
how you
Welcome.
doing?
How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm blessed, brother. I'm good to be, I'm good to be alive. I feel good. I'm thankful to be a part of this podcast, and more importantly, man, we're so excited about Saturday. I can
Awesome.
tell you right now, Saturday is going to be an amazing experience for everybody. So I'm
Yeah.
just thankful to be a part of the experience, brother.
Awesome, awesome, and yeah, we thank you again, and we appreciate you for being here and going through this few few minutes with us, where we're going to kind of ask you some questions about the band. And as you know, this is in prelude to the Columbus African Festival, as you rightly said so, which is taking place this weekend at Genoa Park, Saturday, July 29th, and Sunday, July 30th. You don't want to miss that. You do not want to miss that.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Let's get into it. So tell me, what inspired the formation of the Deal Breaker Band?
So the formation of the Deal Breaker Band is number one. We are a strict, not strictly because we can do pretty much any genre. I mean, we could do jazz, R&B, rock. We can do funk. We can do any kind of style of music that the people call for. But we're a go-go band. And for those who do not know, go-go is a subgenre of funk music that derives from the DMV area, which is basically DC, Maryland, Virginia area. It was introduced by Chuck Brown, rest in peace to the godfather
Rest in
of
peace.
go-go music. Um, he basically introduced the sound in the 70s to DC area, and pretty much it just grew, and it started as a regional genre, but as it progressed, as time progressed as well, it's become a sound that people are, as they migrate to different cities, as people move and embrace new challenges and new areas and new sceneries. They're taking the go-go sound and they're taking it outside of the DMV area. It's becoming, worldwide, and then so the Deal Breakers, we took something that was inspired by Chuck Brown, by the DMV, go-go pioneers, and we just wanted to put our own Columbus twist to it.
Ah,
So it's been an amazing journey. We started back in 2017.
mm,
I've been there since the jump, and from that point on, we've just been focused on the people. Wanting to create a party-like atmosphere. I mean, we like to consider ourselves the party starters,
awesome.
and we start the party and we feed off the energy of the crowd, and if everything is locked in, then we just keep it going. We
That's
keep it going, brother.
fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. That is a great story. So you mentioned 2017, and then but you went all the way back to the 70s. How would you um how would you explain the evolvement of the music over time? From
Well,
what
over
it was,
time, so go ahead.
yes.
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
but I was just gonna say, from what it was back in the 70s to now, 2023, and you guys being some type of representation of that genre still, how would you say the music has evolved?
I mean, the music has evolved just with in regards to just anything else. I mean, as far as the music goes, it's progressed as well as the industry has progressed. So
Right.
as music begins to grow and develop, go-go is just really a Latin fused sound. So the star of the band is our percussion section. So, we have somebody that plays bongas, the congas. We have somebody that plays timbales, cowbell, tambourine, and then we have our drummer. So what that sounds like is basically the drummer is the heartbeat. They start the sound, and the percussion section, which would be the congas, they lock in. And from that point on, the cowbell locks in, the timbales lock in, the piano locks in, then the bass, and then the guitar. So you just picture yourself, sitting in a car.
Right.
Everything
Right.
has a function, everything has a purpose. And if one thing is off, then
Mm,
you'll be able to hear and you'll be able to see. So as far as the music is concerned, as far as go-go, the
right.
star of the band, the star of go-go has always been percussion. The difference is now is just with music progressing, you have different sounds, you have different styles of music,
Right.
And so once you pretty much find the lock position, that's what we call it in the go-go community. We call it a lock, and that's when the drummer and the percussionist they all find a rhythm, and it's contagious. Once it starts, the purpose is to get people dancing, and once we
Right.
get you dancing, our purpose is to make sure that you don't stop.
Yeah, that is fantastic. The drums and all of those instruments that you're talking about, they just get me going in my mind. I'm just like, it has to take some type of some harmony between the group members for that
Yes.
to really be something that people can pick on and just keep on being entertained by it. Now, speaking of the of the harmony, what can you tell us about the band members?
Well, the band members, we are huge. Okay, we have a huge band. On any given night, you can see 10 people on stage. So we have 7 musicians.
Okay,
Uh, so we have, like I said, a drummer, 2 percussionists, and then we have a guitarist, a lead guitarist, a bass guitarist, and then we have usually 1 to 2 keyboard players, and then we also have a saxophone player.
gotcha.
So for the most part, everybody, with the exception of 2 individuals, are all from Columbus. And so we all have familiar relationships, whether it be mutual or whether it be direct contact with each other. We've pretty much known each other, like I said, for the most part, for the last 7, 8 years. Some of us have had relationships that go beyond 10 years.
Oh wow.
And so everybody, for the most part, are full-time musicians. So music is pretty much what feeds their family. Music is pretty much what they dive into, and they pretty much are cemented, into every single day.
All right.
I have a keyboard player that he plays pretty much 7 days a week.
Oh
You know,
wow. Wow.
and so every Tuesday we meet up every Tuesday afternoon, and we always have rehearsal. And
Okay.
it's deeper than the music for us. I mean, we consider ourselves a family, so we all look forward to Tuesdays because it's an opportunity to kind of get away from the world,
Right.
kind of lock into the music, and most importantly, it's an opportunity for us to grow with each other
Right.
and just fellowship. I mean, that's the big thing. Is I'm huge on togetherness. I'm huge on family. So I wanted to make sure that whoever we included in the band had a mindset of longevity,
Gotcha.
consistency,
Right.
and more importantly, we wanted to make sure that everybody was in tune with the vision, which is, hey, it's not about us. It's
Right.
about the people,
Right.
and we wanted to give the city of Columbus a new sound that they're not familiar with, and we have people that are from the DMV area that have moved to Columbus. So it's a refreshing moment when we're able to either introduce go-go to people or reintroduce and reconnect people with that touch of home that they moved away from.
Absolutely. There are keywords that you mentioned there that I believe are very important in not just music or band, but family, fellowship. Those are things that sometimes we can do we tend to not pay attention to, but they are important for not only the betterment of a community but also ourselves. Now, what Ray, could you tell me what is the most rewarding part about being part of the deal breaker?
Man, good question. I would say the most rewarding part is really just the impact that we're able to have on the community. Um, I've been performing in Columbus, Ohio. I'm from here, so I've been performing since I was 4 years old.
Oh wow.
As far as pursuing professional, full time musicianship, that's been since 2009. And as far as with the live band scenery, it's been since 2013. I've seen the business evolve. I've seen a lot of things go down. I've seen a lot of things go up. And one thing that I'm always impressed with, I'm always attached to, is the community, is the people of Columbus. I've always looked at myself as a vessel. I don't People look at me and say, "Oh, you're the front line, or you're the lead singer of the band," and it's just like, yeah, that sounds good and everything, but it comes with great responsibility,
Yes.
and the main responsibility that I have is honestly is number one is to bring people together through music, and I believe that music is the king of all professions.
Yes.
I genuinely believe that music is used to alter any environment.
Hmm.
You look at it from any perspective.
Yes.
Before players, professional basketball or football players or soccer
Right.
players or tennis players, before they work out or before they do anything, in regards to their profession, they
Right.
listen to music. If you go to a funeral, whether it be a funeral or a celebration of life, however you interpret that, one of the first things they usually do is they play music. If
Right.
you go to church, the first thing they do is they have music playing. It
Right.
alters the mood of everything. And so
Right.
it wasn't until about 3 years ago that I kind of looked out into the crowd, and originally it was the thing for us,
Hmm.
in regards to the African American, to the Black community. And
Right.
the more we progressed and the more we grew, it was amazing and humbling to see that there were so many people with different backgrounds, so many people that don't look like me,
Right.
and at the end of the day, they're hearing something that doesn't have to do with your ethnicity. It doesn't have to do with your sexual preference. It doesn't have to do with your political background.
Right.
At the end of the day, people are hearing that music, and it's a beautiful scenery when you're able to see somebody that maybe if they were walking down the street, they wouldn't talk to each other,
That's true.
but because they're in their environment with the deal breakers, we have created an atmosphere of, we want you to be comfortable, we want you to have fun, and we want you to basically walk away with an experience that you can tell the next person, hey, when the deal breakers are playing, you need to make sure you're there. So my biggest takeaway has always been the people. I mean, I'm a product of the people. I consider our band to be the people's champ.
Yeah.
We appreciate the accolades of being considered one of the best bands in Columbus, or, we've heard a lot. We've heard a lot, over the last, year and a half about, what people view us as. And the biggest takeaway that I'm able to, hold close to my heart is to hear that we are the people's band.
Right.
We just want to be the voice for the community. And, before we always end the show, my number one motto is there's no community without unity.
There
You
is
know,
no community without unity. That I mean, you can't say it any better than that, brother. That is. I'm happy to sleep that from you for a little bit. I hope that's not a problem.
no, sir.
Because when you hear things like that, there's no community without unity. It inspires you. So, how would you say that the culture, because you talk a lot about the culture, you talk about the people, you talk about Columbus, DMV, all of those have something in common, which is the people. How does and the culture? How does the culture and the background play a role in in your performance? I know you mentioned all of that, but I just want to get into dig a little bit into it. How does that impact you, not only as a person, but as a lead singer and as a band in general?
Well, the reason why it impacts me is because, like I stated, I've been doing music for a long time. And there was a point in time where I wasn't able to sing, um, because I was sick. I lost my voice. And I remember, meditating, and I remember just, speaking into the atmosphere, to the Most High, is if I can have another opportunity, if I can have another opportunity to perform and sing, I'll do it for the right reasons. I won't allow the what I call local clout or local fame, or just the notoriety. I won't allow that to get in the way of my purpose. I'm connected to a higher energy, to a higher source when I'm on stage. I'm thinking about I'm thinking about all of the legends that came before me, whether it's local or whether it's international, whether it's somebody that personally I admire. Um, And lastly, Chuck Brown, he's the godfather of go-go music. And if you don't know who that is, I would recommend you go look him up for all the viewers out there. But Chuck Brown had a motto, and it was peace, unity, and love, and having fun.
Right.
And so we always try to make sure that we incorporate that, because one thing I can say about the people, and this is not just a Columbus thing, this is just in general. People pick up on energy. So they can look at a stage and they can tell when people are enjoying themselves playing or singing. They can tell when people are just there for the wrong reasons, but more
Right.
importantly, they can tell when people are there for the right reasons as well. So
Right.
again, we wanted to make sure that everybody that's included in the deal breakers, they're in it because they have the heart of basically musicianship, professionalism, and we want to make sure that we're all, as the individual, doing it for the right reasons. Because if you have everybody individually with
Right.
no hidden agendas, no, nothing that has any kind of ill will or ill intentions, then when you put all of that together as a collective, it's just going to make the experience much better, not only for them, but for ourselves. I
Absolutely.
always try to explain to people that, our performances are an opportunity for anybody to kind of, whatever you're going through at that moment in time, whatever, stress or strife you're dealing with in your life, that's an opportunity for you to kind of dance it off, sing it off, scream it off,
Mm.
whatever you
Mm.
have to do. Allow the music to, create those vibrations and give you a good vibe.
Indeed, indeed. Good vibe, good vibe, great music, go-go music, Ray Woods, the deal breaker. My goodness, Columbus African Festival is going to be off the hook, off the hook.
Yes, sir.
Again, appreciate you being here with us. Now, before we go to break, I have one last question.
Sure.
I mean, you mentioned Chuck Brown, who is, it looks like he's your inspiration.
Yes.
And but then would you define your success as being close to him as much as possible? How would you define success or your success? How would you define it?
Man, my success, it ranges, because I wasn't introduced to go-go music until 2015, 2016. I was familiar with the commercialized sound of go-go, but it wasn't until I started to become a student of go-go that I started to research a lot of the homegrown bands, such as Junkyard Band, Backyard Band, Vibe Band,
Yeah.
911 Band, Team Familiar, Still Familiar. There's a lot of bands from the DMV area that I also studied. But before then, I started in the church. And so Fred Hammond was, when I first started singing as a child, I always sung gospel music. So Fred Hammond was my number one inspiration, and I love jazz music as well, and of course I love R&B and soul. So you name some of any of the heavy hitters: Teddy Pendergrass, Luther Vandross, Tank, Jaheim, Christopher Williams. You can name, as far as Earth, Wind and Fire, the Gap Band.
Right.
I have many inspirations that I pull from, but the biggest thing that I look at is my sources from God. This is a God given talent.
Mm.
And so,
Yes.
I always feel like if I'm connected to a higher source, if I'm connected to the Most High, then I'll be fed whatever I need to be fed. So
That
I,
is
I, I
fantastic.
look at my inspiration starting from the church, just gospel music, and as I got older, my father and my mother, they played a lot of old school R&B and soul music. So I attached myself to just music in general. Like most people wouldn't believe, but my favorite genre is actually jazz. I'm a huge fan of jazz. Like I love live
Yes.
instrumentation.
Yes.
So for me, it's like anything that is centered around live music, anything that is centered around, great music for the right reasons, I'm automatically going to be, gravitating to it.
Yeah, I enjoy talking to you, brother, because there is a sense of the transparency that just gets out of you, and in everything that you're saying, you're attaching to this high to the higher power, which is so refreshing because we need that in this world. So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to be back with our guest of honor, Ray Woods, the lead singer of the deal of the Deal Breaker. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Welcome again to everyone. We are talking with Ray Woods, the lead singer of the Deal Breaker, one of the most fascinating and most popular band in Columbus, Ohio. We've been talking about Ray. We've been talking about the Deal Breaker, where the go-go music came from, and everything else. And it's been an amazing time. I enjoy talking to this brother. He has so much insight. It just feels like we can talk forever. But now let's get back to our question. You know, you mentioned, Ray, that Gogo was from the DMV, and that's the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. But now we are in Columbus. In your opinion, what makes Columbus unique?
Man, Columbus is unique just because of the fact is like we have so many different backgrounds. I think it's a growing city. People from Columbus will usually try to find. I mean, when you're from somewhere that you live in, and you see people from outside coming in, it's easy to find all the negative. It's fine. It's easy to find all the things that's not going right. But I see the growth. I see a lot of things developing. I can drive past areas that were once cornfields, and now it's completely, entire
Yeah, it's so true.
neighborhoods. I always reflect on being downtown. For example, the Columbus Commons area at one
Mhm.
point in time was City Center Mall. So, I
Yes,
mean, that's just the
yes.
idea of what you can expect to see as far as the growth.
Hmm.
And I think that what makes us unique really is just the fact that you can go out one night, and if you have a call for jazz music, you can go find that. If you want to
Right,
hear some good, pop music, you can go find that in Mojo Flow. If you want some,
right,
jazz fusion, you can go find that in the Liquid Crystal Project. I mean, there's so many avenues out here for you to explore, and it just takes a little bit of effort to find out exactly what's going on, and you'll find
right.
it. You'll find it in
Yeah,
Columbus. I love my
yes.
city.
Yeah, man, I do love my city too. I believe it's the best city in the entire world, and like you mentioned, the diversity and everything else, and the growth of the city, it just excites you to be part of Columbus, to be here, and it it's the best time, in my opinion, to be in Columbus because we are growing, and bands like yours brings another level of excitement to the city.
Yes, sir.
So right, are there any particular topics passionate about exploring in your work?
Say that one more time. I think your video had went out.
So I was asking if there are anything else or any ideas that you would like to explore in your work in Gogo, that you want to bring to Gogo, that you are maybe curious, that you want to explore.
The number one thing really is honestly just go-go music has been always a genre that is about crowd participation. It's about engaging with the audience. It's about doing music that is popular. I think this genre can go worldwide if we continue to embrace originality, if we continue to embrace putting out original music. And you have a lot of bands from the DMV area that actually do have original content, but now it's that's our mission right now as far as the deal breakers. I mean, we're in the process of right now. We're in the beginning processes of putting together our own studio project.
Oh, nice.
And as a matter of fact, August 19th, the deal breakers, we're going to be having our live recording. It's going to be at Classic Victories
Okay.
from 9 to midnight. Uh, so
Fantastic.
so we're going to take that audio, we're going to mix it down, and we're going to put it out. And,
No,
allow the world to hear it. So the biggest thing for me is just to take the original content that I already have written, and also we're collaborating with each other as far as the band itself, to create original content, original music that we can, hopefully, take this and go outside of Ohio. We already
absolutely.
have Indiana, Kentucky,
Nice.
Philadelphia. Surrounding states have already inquired, even as far as Florida and the Carolinas.
Oh, wow.
We want to get to a point where we're not working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
We want to
Yes.
get to a point where our music is our paycheck, but more importantly,
Mhm.
it's an avenue to connect people with each other and introduce to people a sound that I feel like should be worldwide. Go go is not It's not meant to just be regional. It's not meant to just be in the DMV. It's meant for the entire world to hear, because you can
Right.
take go-go music and you can put a Latin swing to it. You could put a world swing to it. You could put Afro
Right.
beat to it. So
Right.
those are some of the things that we're looking forward to showcasing Saturday, is how we can take go-go and we could put a different twist to it. You never
That
know where we're going with it. So that's
that is fantastic. That is fantastic, and the versatility of the go-go music. And just hearing from you, it looks like it can be mixed with anything else, and you can make it that go-go music and that originality. Fantastic, and I mean, personally, I would like to wish you guys the best to go all over the world and to be the biggest.
thank you.
Bigger, so I can say, hey, I kind of know that guy. One time I
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
so Ray, there is the fact that being black has its advantages, but it also has some other things attached to it.
Yes, sir.
Um, what unique perspective or contribution does being a black artist in the Midwest bring to your approach to go-go or to your music?
Man, it's about, you said one word and it was transparency. I feel like music is an opportunity for you to be vulnerable. And so I want to take everything that I've been through as far as my experience. The band wants to take its entire experience as individuals and collectively and be able to shed that light, because I feel like when you have a platform and you have an opportunity for your voice to be heard, you want to talk about not only the struggles, but you want to talk about the triumphs as well. And so,
Absolutely.
for me personally, speaking for myself, and I think I can say confidently that I'm speaking for the band, is that we're just a vessel. We're just a vessel. We're just a piece of the puzzle. And we just want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence, not to only shed light on music, but also shed light on the social injustices that you deal with as a black man or a black woman, as a black child. We also want to spread a sense of positivity and hope. And
Yeah.
also it's also an opportunity, because we have an opportunity to be in front of so many different backgrounds and so many different ethnicities. Like, it's an opportunity for us to shed light to that white individual that may not be aware
Right.
of what we deal with. There's the opportunity for us to expose somebody that may have had a misconception about it. I had an opportunity in 2009 up until 2013. I worked at a nursing home, and I worked with a lot of Africans, and people that came from Sierra Leone, Nigeria, uh, you know, so many different areas in the continent of Africa, and
Right.
and it was a blessing in disguise, because there was so much tension between Black Americans and Africans. And it was
Right.
because of the perception that they seen of what Black Americans look like. And they were fed all the crap on TV, whether it be Love and Hip Hop. I mean,
Yeah.
they were fed so many things, and it was easy for them to make a general statement.
Right.
It's funny, because I always talk to people. I've never had a chance to visit Africa yet. That's a lifelong goal. That's something that I want to do. I believe I'll accomplish that in the near future. But I
Right.
laugh at people, because America, all they show is Eastern Africa. That's all they show. And
That's
so
right.
you sit here and you think that Africa is an impoverished area, and it's just like,
Yes.
let's be honest.
Right.
So many different countries, so many different emperors, and so many different rulers
Right.
are digging in Africa because of all the resources.
Right.
Africa is
Right.
the motherland. Africa is where life began. Africa is
Absolutely.
the heart of this planet. And so I
Absolutely.
genuinely believe that when people have this misconception of each other, is just a lack
Mhm.
of understanding. And
Absolutely.
so I feel like when you're able to use music and you're
Hmm.
able to use your passion and your gift to bring
Right.
people together, okay,
Yeah.
now we got y'all in. We got y'all together. Now it's time to have an
Right.
uncomfortable conversation, whether it be
Right.
a conversation of accountability within ourselves, or
Hmm.
whether it's just trying to gain an understanding for the other side,
Right.
because they may not have an understanding of what's going on just as much as we may not have an understanding of what they're dealing with. And there's one thing that I always preach. um I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am somebody that I question a lot of almost everything.
Right.
What I always tell people is the biggest fear that the one percenters, the powers that be of our economy, over our politics, the biggest fear that they have is somebody that comes from my background, somebody that comes from your background, somebody
Right.
that comes from a completely different background, looking at each other and saying, wait a minute, why are we so focused on classifying each other based off of race?
Hmm.
Why are we so, hell bent on trying to, classify each other on our social backgrounds or economic backgrounds? We are one race, and that's the human race.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
so once we can come together, we can knock down any wall that stands before us. And so that's
Hmm.
why I preach unity, because it's deeper than just being black. It's deeper than
Absolutely.
just being in it. It's about being a human. It's
Right.
about being human. And I think
Right.
compassion is missing, passion is missing, patience is missing, empathy is missing from this world. And so we just, we always sing songs that are about positivity. Yeah, we want to have a party, we want to have fun, but why not use the opportunity that we have, the platform that we have, to explain to people, hey, you know what? I may not look like you. I may not eat the
Right.
same things you eat. I may not
Right.
believe in the same things that you believe in. But if you cut me and I cut you, we're going to have the same color of blood coming out of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I don't think anybody can say it better than what you've just laid out. And again, as I'm talking with you, there is depth and there is wisdom, and I believe that is what the band, the Deal Breaker, really represent. And that depth, that deepness, that bringing unity together, you are really showing that through this podcast. Again, for anybody that is joining, I'm talking with Ray Woods, the lead singer of the Deal Breaker, one of our performers at the Columbus African Festival taking place this weekend, Saturday, July 29th, and Sunday, July 30th at Genoa Park. So, right, and everything that you said is so beautiful. So I'm going to not try to, I can't compete against. I can't, I can't. Although I have my wisdom hat on and whatnot, all of that, I just can't do it. But I mean, you're so positive that sometimes you will think that there are no challenges that you guys face. So, what are some of those challenges that you face as a local band in Columbus?
Oh man, I can take it professional and I can get personal, so I'll go both ways. Let's start with the professional. Professional challenges that we face is that there's a lack of unity amongst bands in the city, and so what you have a lot of times is you have a band, and I'm just throwing numbers out. This is nothing in stone, but let's say the Deal Breakers, we charge $3,000 to perform. So if you're a promoter and wait a minute, I can go get a band that might play the same, not style of music, but they can play some of the same kind of music. They can entertain people, and I can pay them $1,500.
Right.
Boom, you just created a conflict. because now
Mm.
what they know is a promoter, just like anybody else. Once you see a leak in the building,
Right.
you keep
Right.
you keep you keep attacking that leak.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've been trying to do is trying to explain to my colleagues from other bands is, hey, I'm not opposed to you going to get your money or do a show. If the opportunity calls for itself, go for it. But I think
Right.
as bands collectively, what needs to happen is we have to start coming together and we have to set
Mm.
a foundation of, okay, hey, no band in Columbus, don't take under this dollar amount.
Right.
Show the unity.
Right.
Everybody in the city, everybody in the entire world of
Mm-hmm.
economics has increased their price because of inflation, because of COVID, whatever you want to draw it to.
Right. Right.
Everybody has raised the rate. You can't even go to McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's, but you can't even go to McDonald's. When I was in high school in 2000, 2004 through 2008, a double cheeseburger was $1. Now it's almost $3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Sure.
so, the easiest way that I can draw that back is like, I have family members. Like I have a grandfather, I have a slew of uncles that were live musicians that had an opportunity to play, and they were getting paid the same amount back in the 80s and late 70s, early 90s that some of these bands are accepting. That's a problem. And it's
It
not
is.
about being greedy. It's about the fact that if you know your worth, pay for
Mm.
it. Pay for it.
Yes. Yes.
So that's some of the things that we deal with on a professional level. Um,
Gotcha.
from a personal level, everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own challenges. You know, People wouldn't think looking at my social media that less than 2 months ago, I just buried my son. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so it's kind of like it's one thing to be an entertainer, but we're still human. And so it may not even be as deep as somebody losing a child or losing a family member or losing their job or going through some type of financial or emotional or physical hardship. We're still humans. We're still people. So every day, we're always dealing with challenges. We're always dealing with the walks of life. I work a 9 to 5. I work at the post office. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but that's my 2-year-old daughter in the background. You know,
Yeah, I can, I can, I
you know
can,
what
I
I'm
can
saying?
hear
So
her.
it's just kind of
Yeah.
like,
No, well, I just want to present my deepest condolences
thank
to
you, brother.
you, and it always it's hard. It's
Yes,
very hard to lose a child, and I cannot even start to imagine what you went through, you and your family. May my deepest condolences to you, and may God give you the courage to keep going and to keep this positive attitude.
yes, sir.
um, and because, like you said, and rightly so, you went through that, but most people don't know. And because you are here still doing something that you love, still being the person that you're meant to be, if it's not because you are meant to be greater than what you are, I think nothing else it can be a comparison to that.
Yes, sir.
So again, my heartfelt condolences to you and your family,
Thank you, King.
and may your kids really, really rest in peace. Um, so could you what kind of advice would you give to aspiring musicians who are about to start their journey?
If I had to give some sort of, advice to any kind of musician, whether you're a vocalist, whether you're an aspiring singer, um, my apologies. Mommy just walked in, so baby girl is excited.
It's all right, man. It's all good. It
um,
is all good.
but if I had to give some type of advice, number one, it would be focus on your craft. Focus on your craft. Allow that to be your motor. You're talking to somebody that at one point in time, I didn't know how to handle the attention that comes with even just being a local performer. And
Right.
I allowed certain things that weren't important at the time to kind of get the best of me. And I was focusing on trying to be the best in the city and trying to be the one that was always talked about. And you get to a point where it's just like, okay, where does that get you? So,
Mm.
to any aspiring vocalist, musician, focus on your craft. You know, take a look inside yourself and ask yourself, why am I doing this? And if your why is greater than yourself, if it's greater than what you are looking to achieve personally, then you can do anything you set your mind to. Focus on
Fantastic.
yourself. And then the next thing, I mean, focus on the music. Don't focus on yourself. And then the next goal
Right.
that I would recommend is I would recommend focus on focus on making music that is not for money, it's not for fame. Focus
Hmm.
focus on making music that is meaningful, that has an impact, that has a message. We have enough music out here that's not talking about nothing.
Right.
And I'm an old soul. I grew up on 70s and 80s R&B and
Right.
early
Right.
90s R&B. And what I will say
Right.
is the
Right.
the one thing that's missing is the vulnerability, transparency, the ability to connect with your audience through relatable content. And it doesn't
Mm.
have to involve sex. It doesn't have to
Yes.
involve drugs. It doesn't have to
Right.
involve violence. So
Right.
I always tell myself, even personally, I believe that there's an avenue for everything. So I'm not saying don't make mature content music. What I'm
Right.
saying is you want to make sure that when you put that out, how are people going to perceive you? Not in
Hmm.
the sense of your fame, not as
Right.
in notoriety or nothing like that, but how are people going to take your music and how are they going
Right.
to be able to use that to
Hmm.
everyday life? And so
Hmm.
just make sure that if you are inspiring to do music, don't allow anybody to tell you that you can't do it. It shouldn't be done. It's a dying. It's a dying. I've heard people tell me that it's a dying industry. And whether that's the truth or not, like I'm not doing it for that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing it because of the fact is that when I walk off the stage, when I walk away from a show, I'm
Yeah.
watching people come up to me and they're able to verbally tell me, Ray, I had the worst week ever. Ray, I had the worst day ever. And coming to this show, I feel better.
That is pure. I mean, that is pure passion. It goes beyond ourselves, and it goes beyond everything that is just us.
Yes,
We are
sir.
going to take it to the masses, make somebody's day. I mean, those are words that you don't hear musician, especially nowadays, mention a lot. And again, it's a pleasure talking to you. It's a privilege talking to you, and we're getting close to the show. But I do have some few questions that I need to
Yeah,
get through.
sure.
Uh, so you are going to be performing at the Columbus African
Yes,
Festival. We
sir.
call it, and it's as a board member, as a part of the organization, we are privileged, and we want to thank you for taking part of it. But I want to know from your perspective, because this will be your first time performing at the Columbus African Festival. What should fan expect, and what does it mean for you?
We call it crank. CRANK. That's what
Yeah,
we
right.
call it. Crank. Crank is another term for turn up. It's another term for party. Um, we expect to create a contagious atmosphere.
All right.
We want to create an atmosphere where people are able to dance, smile, sing, have fun. We want to create an atmosphere where people are able to connect. I think that when you're in a quiet room or you're in a quiet setting, it's easy for you to have your head in your phone and you're kind of
Mm,
focused on yourself and you don't want to talk to anybody, or you may not want, you don't know how somebody's going to, kind of gravitate towards you or not. So, one of the things that we are, always being inspired by is being able to create an atmosphere where people are able to connect. And
mm,
so, like you said, with this being our first time performing at the African festival, um, we want to create an opportunity where not only they connect with us, but vice versa, we connect with them. We want to
right.
create an environment where we can, yeah, we set the atmosphere, we set the tone as far as what we want to provide for the hour that we're performing, but we want that to carry on. We don't want that to just be something that we start and stop. Let's create the
Hmm.
dialogue. Let's figure out a
Right.
way to make the African festival bigger. Because one thing
Yes.
that people don't talk about is how the African culture has grown so large
Mhm.
in Columbus. And one
Absolutely.
thing that I've noticed is that people aren't so welcoming to that experience because it's different.
Right.
Let's figure out a way to make this a normalcy. Let's figure out a way to make the Columbus African Festival. Let's find a way to make that something that is just as big as the Asian Festival. It's just as big
Hmm.
as the Latino Festival. It's just as big as the
Hmm.
Jazz and Rib Festival. Let's
Right.
make this
Right.
something that it's not going to be considered a local event. Let's make this something that's going to be considered a national event. So we
Right.
are hoping that we are one of the trendsetters, that we're going to be one of the the pin pushers that's going to be able to move the needle a little bit and apply pressure to not only people a part of the African festival, but we also want to provide an atmosphere where we can extend that outside of the people of the African community. Let's figure out a way for
Absolutely.
people to come up and be a part of the African festival so they can embrace the
Yes.
difference, the different
Yes.
cultures and the
Yes.
different environments that we may not be
Yes.
used to. Because again,
Yes.
Africa is not just about flies and poverty. I tell people that all the time, man. I'm not even from Africa, but because my bloodline, my lineage derives from Africa,
Right.
I always take pride in explaining to people, like, I'm sorry, but you are confused. Africa is the richest continent on the planet. If it
Facts.
if it wasn't so rich, Britain and the French and the Spaniards, that they wouldn't go over there and try to bother
Facts.
and take from all the
Facts.
resources that y'all provide. And so I also believe that if you're talking about from a musical perspective, you're going to hear a sound Saturday that you're going to be able to relate and say, man, this has a world Afrobeat vibe. This has a
Yes.
sound that makes me think of home, even if it's just for a second.
Absolutely.
Everything, and I can't stress it enough, everything, everything regarding a human life, it came from some type of inspiration from
Right.
Africa. Always
Absolutely.
has, always will,
Always will
no
be.
matter how they try to water it down. It
Yes.
all
Yes.
comes from the motherland. So we
Yes.
look to partner with the Columbus African Festival to make this not just a Columbus thing. We want to make this a Midwest. We want to make this
Amen.
a national festival.
Amen.
And what we can do is we can put our our businesses together and we can invite some of the greatest Afrobeat world renowned artists to say, wait a minute, this is going on in Columbus. I need to be a
Right.
part of this. So
Absolutely.
let's
And we want the deal breakers to be part of it as well.
absolutely.
You know,
We are a part of it, brother. Yes, sir.
and that is that combination for me that makes me so excited about the Columbus African Festival. So Ray, we are coming close to the hour of conversation we've been having, and I can't stress enough, brother, how much pleasure that I had taken personally to having this conversation with you. And I hope the audience has not only listened to you, but they have learned of the person, of the brand, of the band, and also the vision behind it.
Yes, sir.
And more importantly, what is it about? Community and unity.
Community and
I
unity.
think that is the one thing, that is the one sentence that I can carry with me and that I can appreciate. So I'm going to give you the closing words. I'm going to give you the last word for you to kind of lead us towards the end of of this show. I give it to you, brother. Take it away.
Well, first of all, Mr. Bayo, I want to say thank you for providing a platform for me to, even be able to speak to you and to the community. Thank you to Columbus African Spotlight for having myself on and the Deal Breakers be a part of the Columbus Festival. I just want to take a moment and I seen somebody comment, one of our superstars, Miss Terry Burke. Thank you for chiming in. But I also want to take this time and express a heartfelt thank you to the city of Columbus. We talk about worldwide, we talk about nationwide, we talk about all these spotlights that we want to be able to capture. But one of the biggest things that I have been able to hold my head on as a Columbus native is being proud to say that when I look behind me, we have thousands upon thousands of supporters that are rooting for us every day. And so I
Yes.
just want to say thank you to everybody that has been a part of the Deal Breaker from the beginning. If you came in the middle, and if you're just becoming a part of the Deal Breaker community, we want to say welcome. We want to say thank you. And more importantly, like I said, man, I just want everybody to just show their self grace. There's a lot going on in this world today. There's a lot of things that's going on that has been created to keep us divided. I just want to tell the people that are watching, the people that will watch, to, take this interview, take this conversation, allow it to be a conversation starter for you to be able to connect with people that don't look like you, that don't have the same background as you, but also connect with the people that do look like you and that do come from
Right.
the same background. I think that
Yes.
this world needs an opportunity to heal. So I say to myself, why not use music as an opportunity to heal each other, to love on one another? And as I always say, it's all about peace, unity, and love, and having fun.
All right, all right. Thank you very much, Ray, and we appreciate you. Thanks for being part of the Columbus African Festival for your band, but also the Columbus Spotlight, African Spotlight tonight. We appreciate you, and we bid you adieu, and we'll see you Saturday for
Saturday,
sure.
it's going down.
Thank
Get
you.
your dancing
Yeah,
shoes ready, brother.
yeah, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much. So you've just seen the our interview with Ray Woods, the lead singer of the Deal Breaker, a band, a local band, a Columbus band, one of the most famous one that are going to be at the Columbus African Festival this Saturday, July 29th and July 30th at Genoa Park. You don't want to miss it. And this is your host, Mustafa Bayo, in one of the episode of the Columbus African Spotlight. We thank you and we wish to see you tomorrow for another interview with another performer at the Columbus African Festival this year. We're going to bring you the best of the city has to offer, not only in terms of entertainment, but there will be vendors, there will be food, great African food. You do not want to miss it. So we'll see you tomorrow. I bid you guys adieu. Have a good night. And peace.
This that funk sound from DC that we like to call go go. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Yeah, come on. Yeah.
times, because I like to work with the audience. I don't like to just sit there and, hey, y'all looking at me, I'm just looking at y'all. It ain't that kind of show when y'all rock with the Deal Breaker. So this is how we open up the go-go pockets. Come on. It's very simple. I'm gonna say one thing, y'all gonna say another. When I say deal breakers, y'all gonna say, give me that beat. Deal breakers, give me that beat. Y'all say, deal breakers, give me that beat. Deal breakers, give me that beat. Come on, deal breakers, give me that beat. Deal breakers, give me that beat. Come on, deal breakers, give me that beat. Give me that beat. So give me that beat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I dance by myself if I got to tonight. Hey! I want to see somebody come up here and break some chains off, dance some chains off tonight. Whatever you're dealing with. Whether it's stress, whether your finances got you in a bind, maybe it's the little rascals you got at your house running around tearing everything up. Come dance it off tonight, baby. Hey! We gonna keep it just like that for a minute, Chuck. I got two people dancing in the back. What's up, Caroline? I see you, baby. You rocking with us. You came to party. Yeah, this is what we call that slow pocket. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna open up the pocket with something real smooth for the lovers right now. And then we're gonna turn this party up. Yeah. Cause everybody needs someone to love them. Make some noise if you love love. Make some noise if you love love. Come on. That feel good, eh? Keep it going, keep it going, yeah, yeah. This for you, Miss Earth. A picture that I can read your mind. Tell you everything you're going through. Cause baby, I promise I found the reasons why you alone been acting so close. Tell me how long you've been this way. Maybe I can open up your heart. See, I've been waiting all my life for someone just like you. And I know you've been waiting too. Sing the words if you know it. All you need is someone who cares. I see some of y'all singing. Someone who will always be there. All you need to say is that you wanted to be with you, girl. I know you waited so long. Wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm just making sure y'all still up. For someone to love you. That feel good, Chuck. For someone to love you. Hey, someone to love you. wish I could be there for every time you ever shed a tear. 'Cause baby, I hate to see a pretty girl like you going through the things that you do. Yeah, yeah, Miss Vicky, kinda think you're gone just for too long without a good man to make you smile. How can I appear to you and make you understand that I'm here when you're ready for someone to love you, for someone to love you. All you need to say is that you want me to be with you, girl. I know you waited so long. Maybe you've been waiting for a man from all the fairy tales, or maybe just a man from all your dreams. Trying to face reality, explore the possibility. 'Cause girl, I know you waited for so long for someone to love you. Yeah, you. Put your hands together if you love love. Come on. I'm not talking about that casual 21st century love. I'm talking about that real love. I'm talking about when a man respected a woman type of love. I'm talking about when a woman gave something, they gave a man something to respect. That's what I'm talking about. So Club Lincoln, I'm gonna ask y'all one more time. Y'all ready to party? Club Lincoln, are y'all ready to party? Let's do it, fellas. Waiting on so long, yeah. All you need is someone. All you need is someone, yeah. All you need is someone. Open up your heart. All you need is someone, yeah. All you need is someone. All you need is someone, yeah. All you need is someone to love you like I would, yeah. Hey, let's turn this party up. Good girls get down on the floor. Come on. Yeah, here we go. I told y'all we about to turn this party up now. I was just trying to warm y'all up. Get y'all a little comfort. Some of y'all wasn't here in the beginning, so I'm gonna have y'all just go ahead and do this one more time.